causing rotation of the wind. That's what makes tornadoes, and that's what we have here potentially on the ground. We've already had reports of funnel clouds from train spotters, and this will have to be watched very closely, and that's why we're on the air here, because we are watching this cell continue to develop and continuing to move to the north and east. All around it, lots of lightning strikes. We've had many reports of deadly cloud-to-ground lightning, over 100 strikes in about 5 minutes. So this is a dangerous cell, not only in the tornadic area, but also south and north of the cell, all the way through Pawtucket, all the way to Attleboro, and down toward Taunton. It's a very, very large thunderstorm. Jack and Lisa, we're going to toss it to you and see if you have any questions on what's going on, or maybe even some new information.
Actually, Ken, I do have a quick question for you. As we look at what you've got up there with those tornadoes, we hear about the train spotters seeing the funnel clouds. Is that what we can expect in other parts of New England, or are these likely to break up and dissipate before they move north? Well,
usually what happens is these storms peak out. They do tend to peak out, and once there's a tornado reported, they do tend to weaken. But this cell, I've been watching here for the past couple of hours, and it is mammoth, is the way I described it a little while ago, because it covers nearly the entire state of Rhode Island. It goes from just about Newport or Portsmouth down in Rhode Island all the way to the north around Woonsocket and up toward Uxbridge here in Massachusetts. That is huge. That is moving to the northeast. So yes, there will be some weakening, but even with that being said, this storm will still likely be severe as it crosses into Norfolk County, and eventually this entire area is headed toward the Boston area, maybe down toward Quincy, Hingham and Hull, down towards Scituate, but somewhere in eastern Massachusetts, not just in Bristol County that's being affected now, will be impacted by what is a very large and very dangerous thunderstorm complex now over Rhode Island and Bristol County here in Massachusetts.
Of course, we have people from all over New England who are watching this broadcast right now and wondering if the conditions are ripe elsewhere that we may see some cells like this develop. What makes this so unusual today? We've had rotten weather now for, it seems, forever. What's going on today?
Well, there's a tropical connection, Jack and Lisa. There's a, kind of the express coming up from the south. This is what's going to give us, by the way, torrential rainfall here for the next 36 hours or so. Is the same flow I'm talking about, straight up out of the south. And there's also atmospheric conditions with wind profiles, they're called, which also help turn the wind and turn the tornado and make it spin. We have all of that going on with this, and it's just the perfect conditions, the ripe conditions, as you called it, Jack, coming together to form a tornado, which is very rare. And no, at this point, this is an individual cell. This is isolated. The rest of New England right now, there are no tornadoes. There are no severe weather, at least that we know of right now. Out to the west of here, no, it's just plain rain and thunderstorms. Nothing severe like we're seeing here. This is very rare, and I would be shocked to see anything like this across the rest of New England. But this thing bears watching as it heads toward Taunton in about 20 minutes, Bridgewater in about a half an hour, and about 45 minutes right toward Halifax. So the path that I've been talking about here is pretty much on target. These red swirls, a potential tornado, and maybe another one here forming. So this is what we're watching, and this is why we're so concerned, because these markers, they're called shear markers, indicate twists in the atmosphere, and we don't see them very often around here in New England. This is a lot what you see in the Midwest. As these things come together, that's when we get the twist in the atmosphere, and that's what causes the developing tornado.
All right, so Ken, we're under this warning now until 4:45 or so. We don't have any experience really with tornadoes here. People in that area, can you go over again what you should be doing if you're in that zone you just talked about?
Absolutely, yeah. You want to get into the lowest level of your home if you're involved in this warning. You want to get into the basement, preferably if you have one, away from windows. The best place to be is, in a perfect world, you have a basement with a bathroom, because believe it or not, the bathroom is the safest place to be in the cellar because it has support with the piping all around it. That would be the safest place to be. If you don't have a bathroom in the lower level of your home, get in the center of the basement. There's a closet down there. Get in the closet. If not, you'll have a stairwell. Get underneath the stairwell because that offers even more support. But we're still seeing that marker, that red circular area here, still indicating that mid-level lock, it's called, when the radar sees spin. And that's unusual for here. Not unheard of course. We had the big tornado back in the 50s. I'm not saying it's like that, but they do happen once in a while. And this is one of those situations, a rare one, but it is occurring down around, well, it was in Barrington, Rhode Island. Now it's moving toward Dighton and eventually toward Taunton here in Massachusetts.
All right, Ken, listen, we're going to give you just a few seconds to catch your breath because we have Rob Macedo from Skywarn on the phone with us right now. Maybe we can also, good, let's put up that radar and take a look. Rob, tell us what you know about sightings of tornadoes and what's going on.
Okay, well, we've had amateur radio operators active at the weather.
We had thunderstorms with damaging winds in North Kingston, Rhode Island. We had very strong thunderstorms with damaging winds with trees down, and of course that water spout and the funnel cloud in the Barrington area reported near Barrington Beach, the funnel cloud at this point. So we're monitoring this situation. It's part of a bigger cluster of thunderstorms. And Harvey, what's happening with that larger area of the thunderstorms right now? How is that going to affect our area?
Okay, thank you, Dick. You know, there's also localized flooding that's been going on from Worcester right through Metro West into Boston. These are some torrential downpours that are coming through. You can see that right up in here. So here we are into the beginning of the evening commute, and a lot of the roads are taking on a lot of water. This is very tropical air that's causing the tremendous amount of moisture in the atmosphere. So we're watching that in the greater Boston metropolitan area while we have this very strong squall line, and there's that funnel that probably occurred down around Great Barrington. Now, there's been some sense on our Doppler live, if we can go back to that, that there's been a little bit of weakening, and so the feeling is that probably if this was even close to coming on the ground, it is lifted back up. But nonetheless, as you can see right over here from Swansea around to Somerset, that's still a very, very strong cell, and we have to continue to keep an eye on that as it continues to move east-northeastward in the general direction of Taunton. As Dick mentioned, a lot of reports from this strong line when it went through Rhode Island. We also had a report of lightning strike in West Greenwich. That's in Kent County, Rhode Island, at 3:29. One injury was reported. A man was struck by lightning. We don't have any further details on that particular situation. So this is